Hey everyone, welcome back to the Razor Garage. In this video, I'm going to give you guys an update on what's going on with the Polaris RZR XP for 1000 Ultimate and give you guys some impressions and, what I really think about the machine. I like it. Actually, more than like it. I love the machine. I love how fast it is. I love how powerful it is. I love how responsive it is. I mean, it is an incredible machine for what it is. We're actually planning our first trail ride, but before that, we got to get a helmet. And we're actually thinking about getting some sidebars to match, the Polaris RZR, which is going to be lime green and storm gray. It can be storm green and lime green and storm gray. It can be either or, but I think the lime green will look perfect. And when we go for our first oil change, we don't know when, the first oil change is, because it doesn't tell me how many miles it has on it. It tells me the trip. It tells me the engine temperature, the compass. But I don't know. I don't even know. I guess it'll tell me when to change the oil. It'll be popping up in the warnings, I guess, on the ride command system of when to change the oil and when it's time to change the oil. And, take it for its first service. They're going to install the lights on the bottom, which is going to be awesome. I cannot wait. And we've already decorated for Halloween. We already put our skeleton in the passenger seat. And on the back, we actually put a little spider on the back of it. It looks pretty cool. And how fast I was going, it hasn't fell off once. And actually it stayed on the back of the side by side. It didn't even move an inch. And I'm really surprised with that little machine. And it's loud. But I guess when you rev it up to like 60 and really go serious trail riding, you won't be able to hear the motor. And it's a higher torque motor. It's definitely one of those high performance motors inside of the Polaris RZR XP for 1000 Ultimate. And it's also got a backup camera, which is awesome. And we're going to drive it later tonight. And yeah, we're going to drive it maybe later on when it starts to cool down a little bit. I had to change my shirt because I was so sweaty driving the side by side for maybe an hour or 3 hours. I was going to stop driving around 6 o'clock so that way it's fully broken in. And it can keep a decent temperature of the motor. So when you go trailing, it doesn't blow up or anything. Because I would hate to be on one of these trails and having to end it early. So we got to be very careful with driving the side by side around until we can really put it to its paces. Because we're already planning our first ever trail ride, and it's in River Neck, right outside Florence. It's closer to where I live. we've already strapped it down, and we've already, learned to strap it down. But for long trips with the Chevy Colorado Trail Boss, pulling the Polaris RZR, we're gonna strap it under, like, in between the tires, and really strap it down to when it won't budge. My dad's got a system to put the side-by-side on the trailer, which is a 16-foot trailer, to where it won't budge, even when it's like around the, it's going to be around the tires. And then, of course, he'll figure it out. And then maybe later on down the road, we might go to Carolina Adventure World right outside Columbia. And both of these trails are actually in South Carolina. One's outside of Florence, South Carolina, and the other is maybe outside of Columbia, South Carolina. I found the next place I want to take my side-by-side to Blowing Rock, North Carolina. Yeah, I definitely want to go to Blowing Rock one day and go trail riding up in those trails. Because I know up in Blowing Rock, they have tons and tons of trails. Especially for side-by-sides and all those other recreational vehicles. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to going trailing and really getting out there. Out there in the mud. And maybe one day we might go in the woods of Johnsonville or Hemingway or wherever. And this side-by-side, I'm really glad I got it. It's definitely a faster side-by-side than the Kawasaki, from what I've read, and from the specs, saying that it's got a better engine, more horsepower than the Kawasaki. But yeah, I do love my Polaris RZR XP 4000 Ultimate. And hopefully we can really break this thing in and really put it to its paces. But maybe next time I go riding later today, we'll put it into high gear and see what it can really do. So I don't know if it's time to put it into high gear. So I've been driving all afternoon in low gear, because that's what my dad told me. Because the engine isn't broken in yet, it's not warmed up yet. I guess we're just waiting for everything to get circulated. This phone is actually my Sirius radio for the ride command system. So if I listen to Sirius radio, I would have to use the Sirius XM app to play my music. I love how everything is within easy reach on the touchscreen. Like, I was going between the music and my little gauges, It's kind of cool how on the gauges I can see the miles per hour when I'm looking at or seeing what I'm listening to. Like, I just glance at it real quick. Overall, over the last 2 days, it's been an awesome side-by-side. I've really gotten used to it in that time. I mean, the only time I didn't drive it this week was actually yesterday because I had a DJ gig. I didn't have time. I had a DJ fall festival because, you know, I am a mobile DJ. I gotta work sometime. So, I think when we drive the side-by-side tonight, we'll put it into high gear and see what it can really do. And see if it's time, because it's been enough time to, you know, drive it into low gear. I mean, we only had an extra 2 hours before it's completely broken in. So I guess after today, we should be good to go for high gear. Because high gear really adds more torque to the engine. And I guess low gear adds less torque to the engine and less horsepower. But it's higher RPMs. I was looking at it, it was like between 4,000 to 5,000 RPM. And driving it, it was going in the over 200 degree for the engine. I don't know if that's good or bad. I've been keeping around that 200 to 190, you know, keeping in that sweet spot so it doesn't, you know, get too hot when I'm driving. So I'm just going to drive conservatively and, you know, drive normally during the first year or so of ownership. I'm going to try to drive as much as I can so it doesn't just sit in the garage like my, like my golf cart did. So yeah, when I gave my cousin the golf cart, it just sat in the garage, and we don't want that to happen to the Polaris. Yeah, I gave it to them back in August, so not even a little over a month until we started looking at side-by-sides. And my future cousin-in-law, Austin, said that, you know, they drove it on Thursday, and I was like, wow. But I'm glad to see that thing back up and running again. And I'm going to start driving the side-by-side more and more so it doesn't just stay in the garage, because that's not good at all, especially for the battery or the gas or the oil. It won't have enough to completely circulate. So I'm going to drive as much as I can, except for rainy days, which shouldn't be too bad. But if you guys enjoyed it, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.